The administration that promised to kill inflation is about to pour gasoline on the fire and call it a gift. Imagine looking at a blazing forest fire and deciding the best way to extinguish it is with a bucket of kerosene. That is the definition of fiscal overheating, and it is exactly what is happening in the highest corridors of power right now. We are standing on the precipice of a financial catastrophe masquerading as a political miracle. It is being sold to the public as economic relief. But behind closed doors, on Wall Street trading floors, and inside central banks around the world, they are calling it something else entirely. They are calling it a detonation. Enter the tariff rebate proposal. As the 2026 midterm elections approach, politicians are feeling the heat, and their solution is a masterclass in economic recklessness. The plan is simple, seductive, and terrifying. Issued $2,000 checks to 150 million Americans. It is brilliant politics, but catastrophic economics. On paper, it looks like a victory for the working class. In reality, it is a $300 billion injection of pure liquidity into an economy that is already sweating, already volatile, and already teetering on the edge. $300 billion created out of thin air, handed directly to consumers right when supply chains are suffocating under global tension. It is a tsunami of cash about to crash into a wall of scarcity. And this brings us to the dual inflation shock. You see, this internal stimulus is not happening in a vacuum. It is colliding violently with an external nightmare. Halfway across the world, the Strait of Hormuz is engulfed in crisis. Oil tankers are stalled. Energy costs are rocketing to new, suffocating highs. The lifeblood of the global economy is being choked off. So, we have the price of producing and moving goods exploding at the exact same moment the government is handing out billions to buy those very goods. This is a perfect storm. And the Federal Reserve, they're completely boxed in. If they raise rates to fight the fire, they crush the economy and default on the debt. If they do nothing, inflation swallows us whole. We have seen this movie before. It is the COVID-era echo. Remember 2021? The government printed trillions, sent checks to everyone, and told us inflation would be transitory. They lied. That stimulus turbocharged consumer prices, decimated savings, and set off the worst cost of living crisis in a generation. Now they are repeating that exact same trillion-dollar mistake, just under a different name. They rebranded the lockdown checks as a tariff rebate, hoping we wouldn't notice the mechanics are identical. You cannot print your way to prosperity, and you certainly cannot print your way out of a crisis caused by too much printing. The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. This is the ultimate blind spot. To the average voter checking their bank account, this looks like free money, a lifeline. But to the markets see a devaluation bomb. This is the stimulus paradox. The government gives you a $2,000 gift, but in doing so, they trigger a second wave of hyperinflation that destroys $5,000 of your purchasing power. Your wallet feels heavier for a month, but suddenly your groceries, your gas, and your rent cost vastly more. You are not being rescued. You are being robbed in slow motion. Make no mistake, the currency you hold is being diluted to buy your loyalty at the ballot box. The financial fallout will be brutal and unforgiving. U.S. retail and consumer discretionary stocks might see a brief, sugar-high rally, but they will eventually be crushed by collapsing margins and evaporating demand. Mortgage REITs will be absolutely decimated as unprecedented interest rate volatility permanently breaks the bond market. But the deepest devastation will not just be domestic. Emerging market currencies are going to be slaughtered. As the United States exports its inflation, the dollar becomes a weapon of fiscal chaos, destabilizing developing nations and sparking global defaults. The fire is already burning. The kerosene is in the air. The $2,000 check is not a stimulus. It is the spark. And when it lands, the economy as we know it will burn.